earlier, thank you so much because this is our first live and we are just trying to understand the optics of how it all works together. So, thank you, Rob, for your patience as well. And we are so excited to talk about this topic because we get so many questions about navigating jobs and internships, especially in this market. And I know that you kind of have a similar audience and you've been talking and partnering with many creators about that as well. So, the topic for today is navigating jobs and internships on F1 visas, CPT, OPT, etc. So, we're ready to get started. But before we do you want to introduce yourself a little bit?
Definitely. Hey everyone, how's it going? I'm Rob with Chai and Coaching. At Chai and Coaching, we're all about helping international students and professionals find success on their cross-cultural journey. So really, it just started after I worked in India for several years, learning the culture, doing business over there. Came back to the States and got to volunteer and do a lot of fun stuff with the local international students here in Dallas. Saw a lot of the struggles, especially with job search, probably the biggest pressure point. And me and my friends decided to one day just to sip some chai, shoot some videos, and make content. And over the years, it's been cool just growing this community that helps people study abroad, get visas, land jobs. And today we're talking about CPT, OPT jobs, how to get those jobs. I know a lot of people are struggling, still trying to get jobs for the summer, for internships and graduations. And hopefully this conversation will help you guys out with that.
Yeah, so thank you so much for even sharing so much of your like LinkedIn tips and stuff on Instagram yesterday. We truly appreciate it. And for anyone who's new, I am Priya from It's OKR, and It's OKR is a content platform for South Asian immigrants, and we aim to educate, entertain, and empower them. So let's begin, Rob. You talk to so many students. What are the top trends that you are seeing that students are facing in their job search strategies?
Yeah, unfortunately, right now the job market's pretty tough. Starting at the end of last year, kind of November, December, a lot of the big tech companies started laying people off, in the thousands and tens of thousands. A lot of these big tech companies that everyone dreams of working at, are getting laid off, which is really sad and discouraging. So the impact of that now is people are really struggling to get those internships, full-time jobs. The market is flooded with people who've been laid off trying to get jobs. Budgets are tight. A lot of offers have been rescinded or revoked. Hiring has been frozen. Unfortunately, the current American government administration has made a lot of issues to create a bad economy, high inflation, and they don't really have a plan to fix it anytime soon. And so we're going to be in this kind of economy. Some people use the term recession for a little bit. And so you have to kind of think smarter. Just hard work is not going to get you a job. You have to have the right strategy. And a lot of students, unfortunately, don't get taught how to get jobs in America. They get good educations and learn how to do jobs. But unfortunately, universities don't do a great job of teaching you how to get a job in America, especially from a different culture. And so students kind of get stuck and frustrated when what they keep doing doesn't work.
Wow, like I'm you because you spoke about it, I was going to bring this up a little later, but now that we are at the topic, like this is very personally very close to me. I work in big tech, so really like of late I have seen what the impact is, and my company went through it. I lost a lot of team members, so it was very difficult. But you mentioned a
Hmm.
very interesting thing about the fact that people are very well educated, but no one teaches them how to talk about it. And my personal journey is also that, right? Like Darshan's journey is also that, where we came here and we knew so much, we didn't know how to navigate it. And the fact that you have stayed and worked in India and then you're here helping these students, what are those cultural nuances that people should know about as they are preparing for their job search or going to these interviews?
Definitely, yeah. A lot of huge differences. I think one of the big mistakes that international students make is assuming that the job search in America is just going to be like their home country. And it's not. The typical way you get jobs back in Asia, back in India is very different here in America. And so, one thing that's different is soft skills. You know, hard skills are your technical skills, but the soft skills are things like communication, relationship building, problem solving, leadership, things you don't really learn in the classroom, but you just kind of have to develop yourself. Those are really important. So recruiters are looking for soft skills. How do you communicate? Do you have a thick accent? Are you funny? Are you someone who's enjoyable to be around? These very subjective, non tangible things are really important, and have a lot more weight in the interview process versus just how smart are you and can you crack this answer? So soft skills play a big role in interviewing and getting hired in America. And a lot of international students are weak in that and don't really know how to grow and develop those skills. They don't really learn those at the college. And so that's a big disadvantage, especially in a different culture. Um, a small part of that is something called small talk. Americans, we do something called small talk where we like talking to strangers. We like having chit chat and small conversations, which is foreign to Asian culture, which is much more formal, where you don't, you either have
Yeah.
kind of more formalized conversation or you just don't talk to people you don't know,
You
and
directly
so
jump into the topic.
yeah, so learning just how to have small talk, casual conversations, budget with an American is difficult, but an important part of gaining favor, building relationships, connecting with a team, winning over a recruiter. And so you have to learn how to do that, especially for networking. Work culture is also very different in America. You know, um, we work probably less hours a day compared to a lot of Asian cultures. We start earlier, end earlier. Our daily schedule is different. It's a lot more independent and initiative. I know a lot of Asian culture, it's much more kind of
Tough.
micromanaged. And the bosses are always checking in and mingling. But in America, it's just they expect you to go do your job. No one's going to tell you what to do or how to do it. You're just supposed to go do it. And that's a tough adjustment. And yeah, that comes from like power distance. It's another cultural term where in American Western culture, we have low power distance, which means you're going to call your boss by their first name, not sir or madam, and you're going to work together more as peers. But in Eastern culture, there's a high power distance, the big boss and the lowly employee. And it's much more formal, much more kind of fear based. And so the office culture environment is just very different in America and tough to adjust to, but a lot of people like it once they get used to it. It just can be a shock to the system.
No, that is super insightful and definitely something that we've all firsthand experienced. What would you recommend to someone who is just not sure how to get started? Do you have like one or two things that you like start doing this and you'll start to get there?
Yeah, a couple tips for getting started, especially if you guys are looking for like internships still this summer. I know a lot of my friends are. Some are getting them, which is encouraging. So don't give up. But one is just understanding the job market. You have to understand what you're working with before you can create a strategy. And again, that's probably the biggest misconception. And the way the US job market works is the majority of the jobs, some experts would say about 80% of jobs in America come from relationships, networking, and referrals, not by applying online. They call this the hidden job market. And so most of the jobs are fulfilled through offline. They're not even posted online, where most people, especially international students, are only applying online and maybe only getting access to 20 to 30% of the job market. And especially with cultural issues and visa sponsorship stuff, you have a very, very slim opportunity to get a job online where most people focus all their efforts. But the best way to get a job is offline through relationships, networking, and referrals. But the problem is most international students don't know Americans and they don't have American professionals as friends.
Exactly.
And so they're in a really bad spot. And, you know, so that's a really big struggle for them. Another thing to get started to think about is just the timing. Job search starts from day one in America. The earlier you start, the better. A lot of big companies hire in the fall for the next summer. So a lot of people are just going to maybe their first semester focus on those academics, but then they miss out on the big recruiting window. So, you know, job search starts from day one. You can't think about it, a semester later or just a couple months before you need a job because it's going to be too late. And then networking, I'm sure we can talk more about it later on, but networking is just the key. Networking is the biggest part of getting a job, and the students who do real networking find a lot of success and jobs come to them. But it's really, really, really hard for international students to get out of their bubble, go meet people, and do the hard work in networking, which that's what really pays off.
No, that is super insightful. So you said something, and I want to like double click into that a little bit, which is like, I am an international student or I'm someone new in America, and I don't have these American colleagues. I don't have these contacts. Where do I begin? Like, what is your tip for someone? Like, I don't know anyone. Like, where do I get started?
Yeah, I'll give kind of three good starting places for students. So you really have to think, kind of off campus. Most students live in a little bubble, and it's kind of their little college bubble. They typically have roommates from their same culture, classmates from their same
Yeah.
culture, professors from their same culture. So you're not going to meet American professionals if you're just on your little campus bubble. So you got to break out of that. Some opportunities is a lot of universities have mentorship programs, especially with local professionals. And so go talk to one of your professors or a program advisor or head of your department and say, hey, is there any formal mentorship tie-ups or local professional communities that I can find a mentor? And it's a lot of times there's all these mentors that want to get connected with the student. So you get directly connected with a professional who's in a local industry, maybe close to your degree or whatever, or field of expertise. And it's a great mentor mentee relationship, someone that you can meet with monthly, grab a meal, pick their brain, learn from them. And so that's a great way to start networking is through those kind of mentorship relationships that the university provides. Another great thing is alumni, start with common connections. Someone who's graduated from your college, your degree is much more likely going to be willing to connect with you and talk and help you than a random stranger. So start where you have mutual connections, mutual commonality, you know, um, use LinkedIn to find the alumni, talk to the seniors, the people that are a year or two ahead of you from your batches. Get to know them, take them out for coffee, grab a meal with them, do a quick Zoom call with them. So tap into your alumni network because people like to give back because I'm sure people helped them beforehand. And then my favorite one, the best one, is meetups. Pri, I don't know if you've ever attended any meetups. I know there's a
Yes,
ton of
we
great ones.
hosted one. We hosted one
Awesome.
on It's Okay Arthur. Yeah, because I think it's the best way to build those authentic relationships when you can put a name to the face. It makes it all
Hmm.
easy.
Yeah, meetups are so good. Just meetup.com. They have a great website and app. And especially in any of these cities where there's colleges, there's going to be meetups. They have fun meetups like book clubs and photography and hiking and yoga and pets to very technical stuff with big data and Python and AI and machine learning and this and that. So you'll find a meetup for anything and you get to go hang out with professionals. I just had a friend who's a student from Duke who's working in Austin, Texas right now. And every week he's been going to meetups, meeting new people, other professionals, making new friends. And he's like, Rob, this is so incredible. He said, I was nervous to go to meetups, but now I'm loving it. My network is growing. I'm making new friends, learning so much. And most of these meetups are all professionals. They're all there to learn, meet new people,
Yeah.
see to help each other out. But they love it when students come because so many students don't come. And so it's such an opportunity to meet people, learn, and where career doors, get opened up to you.
Yeah, no, that's fair. And I think that is anyone who's listening, basically, it is just important to put yourself out there. That is not something we actively do back home in India because we are mostly always caught up in our own work, and that takes up the day. Here, however, because people are really trying to network and it's a big part of their lives, they're putting themselves out there. So you really have the
Hmm.
opportunity to build those connections. So that was really helpful. I do have, like, I know you shared some wonderful tips about landing internships. How would you say that once I have landed an internship, I convert that into a full-time role? Like, is there any advice that you have around that?
Yeah, definitely. And it's kind of that same principle of kind of getting out of your bubble and comfort zone applies here as well. So some people just go do their internships and they just keep their head down, do their job, work with their team, and that's it. And there's other people who really make the effort to expose themselves in professional and appropriate ways. So when I talk about exposure, I mean getting to meet other people. Meet other people in other divisions, other teams, other departments. One of my favorite things to do when I was an intern, in college with these big companies, is never waste a lunch. Never eat a lunch alone. Always eat a lunch or get a coffee break with somebody else in the company. Other interns, other mentors, and you'd be surprised at how high up you could get people in the company to grab a lunch with you, to grab a coffee with you. All you have to do is ask. What's
Yeah.
cool is when you're working there, you get access to the whole database. So you can easily drop an email, a Slack message, whatever, to someone in the company and say, hey, I'm an intern. I'm working on this project. Would you be free in the next couple of weeks to grab a meal or a coffee? I'd love to hear about your journey and get advice for my journey. And 90% of the time, they're going to say yes. So never waste a meal. Always spend those with other people, picking their brains, building those real professional relationships, um, because it's the people that they know the best are the ones that are going to get the return offers. And then
Totally.
the last thing is just the value and impact you made. Did you just come there and do the project so that you could get your internship for your resume, or did you actually like do something valuable for the company? And I think the value and impact of your work, and the tangibility of that's what's going to show them, is this someone we want to bring back full time? Are they really teachable? What's funny in America is they really don't care about how much you know, because they're going to teach you what they want you to
Yeah.
know. What matters more is how teachable are you? How quickly can you learn? Can you adapt? Can you solve their problems? Can you be a solution? And that's what they're looking for. And if you can prove that as an intern, they're going to fight for you to stay and come
Yeah.
back full time.
Yeah, it's all about adding that value. That's such an excellent way to put it. And Rob, based on your experience, when do you think someone should start a conversation around the fact that they would need H-1B sponsorship? Is that after they have landed a role? Like, is there any advice on the timing that is appropriate to have that conversation?
Yeah, there's definitely different schools of thought on this. If you're a current college student, talk to your career services at your college. First you want to follow kind of their protocol and their advice because they know that really well. So ask them, your advisors, your career advisors at your college. Um, I think if you ask too early, it sounds desperate. If you just,
Yes.
if at the very beginning, hey, do you sponsor? That what that communicates to the company is, oh, I'm just using this company to get a visa. And the company doesn't want you to use them. They want you to solve their problems. you know, they want you to add value. But if you're adding value, especially if you've already been interning for them, and they're having those full-time conversations of, maybe that's that kind of soft, hey, would you be interested in a full-time offer, kind of that soft offer? Be like, hey, I'd love to, you know, I I would love to come and work here for several years, after my graduation. Do you guys sponsor, and what's my likelihood of getting a sponsorship, or what is your timetable, what is your company's policy? So once they bring up that long-term conversation, then it's very appropriate. Or if you're interviewing for a full-time position, then yeah, you want to have those conversations so there's no surprises, on either side. But if you just reach out and say, hey, are you hiring full-time,
Once.
and do you sponsor me, you know well, if that's what your priority is, then you're going to move lower on their priority.
No, totally. Like you said, I think it all comes together. Like, first, create that value and become that person, and then make the ask. So, to get the timing right, and it'll all come together in place. But though this was
Mhm.
all super valuable, Rob, is there anything that we have not discussed, or you have seen that an international student or anyone who is in this moment looking for jobs and internship should keep this top of mind, or like navigate around?
Yeah, I think one thing is, don't give up hope. I know it's like last week of April, end of the semester, so I know you're feeling the pinch with projects and final exams right now. Summer's around the corner. The semester's over, almost over. But I have a lot of student friends over the years who've gotten internships in May or the very beginning of June. So don't give up hope. There's still
Mm.
time. You still have almost about a month left where you can still nab an internship. I would say right now, don't focus on big tech and FANG. Focus on more maybe medium size startups, local companies. That's where more action is going to be happening. That's where more opportunities are going to be happening. You know, Start going to meetups, use your network. We've got a lot of great videos on our channel that talk about how to network, how to get jobs through networking. If that's a new concept for you, you kind of have to learn. It's a skill that you developed, but you're not going to learn networking overnight or by watching a
Yeah,
video. You're going to learn networking by doing it.
doing
You
it.
know, just like for me to learn how to play cricket, I actually had to go play cricket when I was living in India. Just watching it on a TV, okay, that's nice, but I actually had to go play and learn how to throw the ball and hit the bat, and all that stuff if I was actually going to understand cricket. And the same with networking. You're going to go, you're going to make mistakes, you're going to have awkward conversations, but each time you go, you're going to get better and better and better until you're going to realize it's easy, it's fun, and when you do networking well, that's when jobs come to you.
No, that is such a great point on the fact that don't lose hope, just keep going and things will come together. Just adding to Rob's point, another place to look
Mhm.
at is like those recession-proof industries. If you do some research, like you'll come across healthcare, CPG, like industries like that, where there are always job openings. So definitely against a little bit of big tech and FANG, considering I am at one and I see what the
Mhm.
situation is, like just get away from it and get that experience and eventually all doors will open. But that was excellent, Rob. And I can't believe it's only been two conversations since we've had with each other and only in the
Mhm.
last 2 days because it feels like I know you forever at this point. And I really think we will be doing a third one if you would like for sure, because I want to learn all about what your experience was when you worked in India, the power distance, how did you navigate that?
Mhm.
Because working there is so task oriented and following orders and like doing certain things. Of course, a lot is changing now, but it's just interesting to hear your perspective. So maybe we will do another one just deep diving on that because I personally am so curious to learn about your journey and what that would look like. But
Yeah, that would be fun.
appreciate, yes, that will be fun and it'll be a fun conversation. And appreciate you sharing all the tips for anyone. Please
Mhm.
check out Rob's channel. Posts these excellent videos on, like he mentioned, like how to use networking, how to get started with networking and look for jobs. We have created some as well based on our experience, but he has a lot of experience with students specifically. And if you're a student, definitely you must check his channel out. Anything else, any parting words, Rob, that you want to share?
Yeah, sure. Well, yeah, I'd love to collaborate again. I'm headed to Mumbai in about a week for a wedding, so I'm excited. So I'll be going to India and then Thailand for some work. But maybe when we get back, we can do that again. But I
Oh
want to
my gosh.
give a bonus tip for people because right now people are feeling the pinch and desperate. So what I'm seeing right now is people posting on LinkedIn, hey, I've filled out 900 job applications. I'm so desperate. Woe is me. I'm a poor international student. I've got visa deadlines, blah, 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 blah. I've seen hundreds of these posts. Please, can you help me find a job in this or that? And basically, all these people are posting on LinkedIn how desperate they are, how they're using the wrong strategy, and how they can't find the job, and how sad it is, and how everyone needs to help them. But do not do that, because one, you pretty much only get commenting for better reach as the comments 90% of the time. Um, and what it does is it communicates desperation and that you're not qualified. If someone else sees, oh, this person has applied to 900 jobs and not gotten it, I probably am not going to consider them. Or if this person's really struggling, I feel
Hmm.
sorry for them, but I don't know them. They're just a random stranger on LinkedIn. I'm busy. I don't have time to find them a job. And so if you're online showing your desperation and begging for jobs and expecting strangers to find you a job, again, that is the wrong strategy, the wrong mentality. You are responsible for your job, you and only you. And it's your job to make sure you're using the right strategy, and if you're doing the same thing over and over and over and it's not working, maybe try something different. Um, the best thing to do if you're in that situation, don't post a desperate, begging plea. Instead, post content on LinkedIn that shows your qualifications. Make posts on what you're interested in, what you're thinking about, what you're good at. Do polls, share articles, show your work, share projects, classwork, presentations, awards, certifications. Post things on LinkedIn that show your value, your qualifications, and the proof that you can actually do really good stuff and you're a problem solver. And if people see that, when recruiters or team leaders see that, they're like, oh, this guy knows what they're talking about. That girl, she's got some great credentials. Let's reach out to her. Let's check out her profile. Let's message them. Let's hop on a call. So the more that you show what you're good at, then that's going to create relationships, conversations. But if you're just begging on there, people are going to like and comment for better reach, but they're not going to help find you a job.
Now, that is such an interesting point and like perfect parting words because I feel that is definitely LinkedIn is a platform we all use. And I've definitely come across those. And as you were saying it, I was like, yes, I've liked it or I've said commenting for better reach, but
Mm-hmm.
it's not top of mind for me to
Yeah,
find them
yeah.
something. However, if someone has slid into my inbox and have explained what their situation is, what they're looking for, where they need help, there's a better chance that I've connected with them. So thank you. This is all great. Have so much fun in Mumbai. We're
Thank you.
jealous. Definitely enjoy some mangoes because it's
Yeah.
season now.
Uh,
So
Give me some
yeah.
Alfonsos.
Definitely. And once you're back, share pictures. We'll definitely do another one. But it was such a great conversation. Thank you so much for your time and apologies for all the confusion with the live. And thank you for the
No, glad it
patience.
worked out. Thank you, Priya.
Thank
Good luck,
you.
everybody, in your
Bye.
job search. Bye bye.
Bye.